This chapter was bonkers on so many levels. But hey guys, it's your boy GM, the Red Ronin. How's it going? Chapter 1166 of One Piece. Let's get into this. Please don't forget to drop a like to this video. It's really appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, let's dive in. Rocks versus Garp and Roger. The battle has ended. Everybody is drained out of energy. This battle was epic. Short, but epic. Zebek, Rocks, he was still alive, but unfortunately, the Holy Knights were still present and they assassinated him. And before his death, he thanked Garp and Roger for freeing him from Imu's curse. And it is such a bitter end because this guy really had every element to truly turn the world upside down. And I feel it's a great loss, but a necessary loss. I am dead surprised that they left Roger alive. Like, leaving Garp alive, he's part of the Marine. They could kill him, but they decided to keep him alive so he could take the title of the hero of the Marines. But leaving Roger alive? Now that, I'm actually surprised. As I predicted, Gaban and Ride came back for Roger, and they also rescued Garp. As I said previously, they are pirates and the Marines are their enemies, but they're not that heartless. We see God Valley collapsing onto itself, and right above, we see a storm of lightning going all over the directions. And with what we know in the One Piece universe as of now, we know that an ancient weapon was used to destroy God Valley. And we know by now that the ancient weapons were named after ancient deities. So, with the lightning shredding through the sky right above God Valley, is it safe to say that this weapon is called Zeus or Jupiter? It could be that actually. At first, I thought it was the same weapon that was used to destroy Dulucia, but the absence of lightning was kind of a big clue. So, I'm guessing it's another form of ancient weapons, and it might be called Jupiter or Zeus. I'm aiming more to Jupiter actually. And of course, we see soon after that Shanks has been discovered by the Roger pirates, and this is how he was brought up to be. The next part with Garp is actually very interesting. We go to Navy HQ where he is recovering, and he is really pissed about the story that was written about him being a hero, that he defeated the Rocks pirates. And Garp knows that's not true, but he's pissed off, but he can't do anything about that. Sengoku, however, we see him like completely dismissing that. And I quote, "The world government and the Navy are both massive organizations. If you include the military of all the member countries, there are tens of millions of soldiers across the world. It's impossible to be completely aware of what every last one of them is doing. So when I notice that the upper management is doing something insane, I can just look the other way." And that pisses off Garp because for him, he truly believes that the Marines are there to protect the innocent, to not be corrupted and all that. But Sengoku, he doesn't give a shit. You know what? It's not up to me, and it is what it is. He just brush it off like that. And of course, Garp, he's like, if you ever turn like them, I'm gonna kill you myself. And I love his last line of that page, mentioning that I got plenty to protect down at the bottom of the cliff, as you call it. And we see from that moment that these two have very different vision of what the Navy should be. And one is down to protect the innocent, the people and all that. And as was Sengoku, at least back then, he was more like, you know what, I'm gonna get to get higher on the ladder and have more power to do what's right. And at the end of the day, if the Marine is successful, that's what matters, even if those matters in the hand are dark and bloody. And then we see him with his son, Dragon, and Dragon telling him that I'm quitting the Navy, Dad. And Garp is totally powerless about convincing his son to change his mind and whatnot. He knows that after what happened in God Valley, he can't defend that. So he just says, I know. And on that topic, replies Dragon, he replies again, I'm disgusted with you. And Garp just says, I know. He can't do anything about that. He just drops the key, let him off, and that's it. And I can't blame him on that. I think on that level, I kind of understand Garp's position. You know, after what he's seen, he can't just tell his son, say, don't worry about it, you know, and all that. Because Garp, again, like I just mentioned, he truly believes that the mission of the Marine to defend the innocent and all that. Dragon saw firsthand of the corruption of that power that is primarily used to protect the innocent, to fight the evil pirates and all that. So what exactly can he say to his son that, hey, it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it? No, he can't say shit. And I think that at some level, when Dragon started to become a revolutionary, I mean, let's be honest, Garp could have used any given way to go and arrest his son, but he never did because he knew that perhaps the revolutionaries are a necessary evil to set the world right. And again, hopefully, I do hope that Garp managed to start the process of creating the Sword Division. At that point, I'm pretty sure that he helped founded this division. Loki, considering that he really admired Rox, he is distraught by the announcement of his death. However, we see a conversation that is very interesting between those two, Loki and Rox. Loki believes that Rox is Nika, and we see him telling that, you know, he just out there tearing down the world, because we see that the Legend of Nika has different versions. At one point, he destroys the world. The other one is he saves the world and all that. So there are a lot of different interpretation about the Legend of Nika. And also, we see again that Rox mentions that there is this group of destroyer giants called the Garela, and that Harold has control over them, and he could, you know, have control over them and conquer the world and whatnot. And considering that Loki, I mean, clearly he has some admiration for the Legend of Nika. So if him seeing that Luffy is Nika, perhaps he will join his crew. I mean, we saw it in the mural at Elbaf that Loki ends up joining the side of Nika. So I am dead sure that this is gonna happen. But at the same time, what I'm wondering, that mysterious group of giants, the Galela, will Loki have control over them, considering that he is the son of Harold? Or maybe could Ajrudin get control over them? He is also the son of Harold. But to be honest, I'm aiming for Loki to have that kind of control over those mysterious giants. We see King Harold beating up on some giant ruffians, and he is also very distraught by the loss of Rox. And the guy, he is not himself. And let me quote what he said. All of you scum with size as your only quality are the ones who built the giants' history of terror. And because of you, no one believes us. They don't believe that we seek a peaceful seat among the nations of the world. I wanted Elbaf to join the world government to avoid losing their faith. And that was why I couldn't help him. Talking about Rox, my greatest friend begged me for help, and I turned my back on him. I left him there to die. And I think that he has a lot of regrets doing that. He still wants Elbaf to be a beacon of hope and future towards humankind and towards even world peace, if you think about that. But no matter the differences that he had between Rox, he still wanted what's best for him, and the fact that he died, the fact that he could have made a difference actually for Rox's sake. He's never gonna forgive himself for that. But he knew that at the same time, he knew that Rox's plan for the future was total chaos throughout the entire world, and for the sake of his people, he couldn't say yes for his help. The last part of the chapter was quite dramatic and quite gruesome if you think about it. And we got Arrow going to Navy HQ, pleading for the world government to listen to him. And he tears off his horns. Oh my God. I'm looking at the panel and it is bloody and it is painful to look at. And I quote, he says, "Allow me this chance to atone for 1,000 years of history. I want to apologize for all the mistakes that Giant Kite has made. I wish to prove my oath of peace so that the children of Elbaf can lead fruitful lives without hurting anyone, so that they can live hand in hand with humanity. I want a chance to atone for our sins." And this is the last sign that is very dangerous and dreadful for Arald and for the future of Elbaf. He says, if that means I must be a slave, so be it. And of course, we saw that this captured Emu's attention. And now I go back to that panel. I don't remember which chapter it was, but that panel where King Arald is being assassinated by his own guards. And I believe that those guards, it's almost obvious that his own guards were manipulated by Emu to kill him, because I think that King Arald discovered something that was weird, fishy by the world government. And he was about to stop it, but he was assassinated by him. And I feel like somewhere along the line, maybe, just maybe, and I think that, no, wait, actually that happened in this arc. The Holy Knights wanted Loki to submit to world government control. He refused, and he got beat up for that. So now we see King Emu taking matters in his own hands, or her hands. I don't know if it's a he or she, but anyways, we see that Emu is taking control over Elbaf, controlling the giants, making them as demons and all that, and wreaking havoc all over Elbaf. So I think that Harold knew something and he was about to stop it, but he was too late, and therefore he was assassinated by his own guard. Let's not forget, the world government wants the power that the giants have as a military force. And I wouldn't even be surprised that Emu is well aware of that mysterious and legendary group of giants called the Galilea, to have control over them as well through Loki and the rest of Elbaf. So I feel this is really like evil from Emu, obviously, but it also reeks of desperation, because after the awakening of Nika through Luffy, Emu knows that he cannot afford to be sloppy anymore. If you think about it, like Vegapunk mentioned, that war that happened during the Void Century is not over yet. Far from that. And that scares Emu like hell. But what are your thoughts about this chapter, guys? Tell me your input about this. Let's flood the comment section. Let's discuss about this. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you love my content, how about you subscribe to my channel? That would be very appreciated. So in the meantime, take it easy, stay breezy, and I'll see you around. Bye.